Hey everybody, Scott Sachs with the Synergy Group, here to discuss the real estate market. As always, we are highlighting the DC, Montgomery County, and Arlington markets to give you a snapshot into what's going on in your neighborhood and community. What we're going to highlight here is year-over-year comparative analysis of statistics from trailing August data from August 25 and August 24 across all of these metrics. So we have days on market active listings and average sales price to original list price ratio. Where did it start? Where did it end? That gives you some indication of what direction the market might be going in as well. So here we go. DC, number of active listings, up almost 15%. Montgomery County, up 50% active listings. Arlington, up 43% active listings. Days on market, up 10% in DC. Montgomery County, up almost 71%. 71% days on market. Now, I want to put things in perspective because average days on market for Montgomery County went from 17 days to a total of 29 days, okay? So you got to keep in mind with a lot of these numbers, these look like big numbers. Like take days on market for Arlington, up 78% year over year. Well, yeah, it is up 78%, but the days on market went from 23 to 41. So when you think about this nationally, okay, 40 days on market relative to other markets like Austin and Nashville and some of these other markets where we have associates and team members that we work with. We just did a call with a group of our national affiliates in Compass from Boston to Denver to Austin, all over the country, to talk about what's going on in our markets, what are we seeing, what's trending, what's best practice, all those things which we do every single month. And the takeaway is we're seeing this type of behavior across almost every market share. So we are seeing inventory starting to spike, and we're not necessarily seeing the absorption. Days on market, you can see up dramatically. Now, why is DC lower than these other jurisdictions? Because DC was already, going back into 2024, seeing softening. Again, DC, generally speaking, is very nuanced. You've got to be working with a professional who's been doing business in the district for a number of years, particularly in a market like this, okay? Word of warning, you can't work with someone who's been selling houses for 2 years in a market that's only been up in DC to better understand the nuance of these various neighborhoods and the trends that you may see over the next 4 or 5 years. Make sure you're working with somebody who really understands that. Average sales to list price ratio across all jurisdictions, down 1.2%. Montgomery County, down 2.8%. And just to give you a sense of what that looks like, that properties in Montgomery County are now selling at 96.8% of their list price. So you're seeing almost a 4% reduction off list price, which doesn't even include seller subsidies, credits towards home inspection items, nuances as far as the contingencies are concerned. We are seeing these things creeping back in to contract negotiations. So these numbers only reflect that gross number that you see on the sales number when you look on Zillow and everything else, but there can be underlying credits and things involved in these numbers as well, which could make it potentially even off of that 96 number. The good news is this needed to happen. This is something that I've been calling for over 2.5 years, that we had an affordability crisis in the United States and locally, right? We've got 6 of the top 10 wealthiest counties in the country around the DMV. The good news is we are getting back to a healthier economic balance between buyers and sellers, the amount of inventory that's out there. It's giving people variety and the ability to find the property that's right for them. In addition, we're also finally seeing a reduction in rates, okay? The job number came out. There's going to be a revision downward of almost 1 million jobs, and that is leading this number. We still have some hot CPI numbers that are coming out, and that may continue. But I think the Fed finally sees that we are seeing some economic softening nationally, and that the rate reduction is inevitable. So 50 points in September and potentially another quarter or 50 before the end of the year. But we're already at 4%. We reached almost 5% earlier 2025. So to give you a sense, we're down almost 100 basis points. We have clients right now that are locking 5 and 7 year ARMs, which is not a bad option. Talk to your licensed lender about what those options are and what's right for you. Or we can also advise you and give you some recommendations. But 5 to 7 years, putting people anywhere from 5 to 5.5% right now. That really helps their buying power. And I want to be clear when I say this. I don't mean go out and buy more expensive houses because the rate gets better. I mean be financially prudent and buy a house that is within your means to give you comfort to be able to spend elsewhere in your life. This gives you the flexibility to do that. To go out and now negotiate on a house at a better rate and still have money left over where you aren't feeling the strain of a giant mortgage payment, which a lot of Americans are the last couple years. Now, it's August year over year. August is historically a slower month as far as number of deals, and so that can also skew these numbers a bit. What I'm really interested to see and look forward to bringing to you next month is what these September year over year numbers are going to look like, because that's going to really set the tone for not only the fall market of 25, but it's also going to set probably the market going into the spring of next year, depending on what happens with some of the economic data, unemployment, and where the Treasury continues to go. For questions, synergysoldit.com, and we're always here to be your DMV real estate resource.